Francis Bacon, also known as Lord Verulam, was an English philosopher and statesman who served as Attorney General and as Lord Chancellor of England. Bacon has been called the father of empiricism. The general idea of the importance and possibility of a skeptical methodology makes Bacon the father of the scientific method. This method was a new rhetorical and theoretical framework for science, the practical details of which are still central in debates about science and methodology. Francis Bacon was a patron of libraries and developed a functional system for the cataloguing of books by dividing them into three categories: history, poetry, and philosophy, which could further be divided into more specific subjects and subheadings. Bacon was educated at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he rigorously followed the medieval curriculum, largely in Latin. Bacon was the first recipient of the Queen's Counsel designation, which was conferred in 1597 when Elizabeth I of England reserved Bacon as her legal adviser. After the accession of James IV and I in 1603, Bacon was knighted. He was later created Baron Verulam in 1618 and Viscount St. Alban in 1621. During his career as counsel and statesman, Bacon often wrote for the court. In 1584, he wrote his first political memorandum, a letter of advice to Queen Elizabeth. In 1592, to celebrate the anniversary of Queen's coronation, he wrote an entertaining speech in praise of knowledge. The year 1597 marked Bacon's first publication, a collection of essays about politics. The collection was later expanded and republished in 1612 and 1625. In 1605, Bacon published The Advancement of Learning in an unsuccessful attempt to rally supporters for the sciences. In 1609, he departed from political and scientific genres when he released On the Wisdom of the Ancients, his analysis of ancient mythologies. Bacon resumed writing about science and in 1620 published Novum Organum, presented as part 2 of The Great Saturation. In 1622, he wrote a historical work for Prince Charles entitled The History of Henry VII. Bacon also published Historia Ventorum and Historia Vitae et Mortis that same year. In 1623, he published De Augmentis Scientiarum, a continuation of his view on scientific reform. In 1624, his works The New Atlantis and Apothegms were published. Sylva Sylvarium, which was published in 1627, was among the last of his written works. Although Bacon's body of work covered a fairly broad range of topics, all of his writing shared one thing in common. It expressed Bacon's desire to change antiquated systems. Michael Drayton was an English poet, the first to write odes in English in the manner of Horace. His first published work, The Harmony of the Church, contains biblical paraphrases in an antiquated style. His next works conformed more nearly to contemporary fashion. In Pastoral with Idea, The Shepherd's Garland; in Sonnet with Idea's Mirror; in Erotic Idyll with Endymion and Phoebe; and in Historical Poem with Robert, Duke of Normandy, and Mortimeriados. The last, originally written in rhyme royal, was recast in Ludovico Ariosto's Ottawa Rima verse as The Baron's Wars. Drayton's most original poems of this period are England's Heroical Epistles, a series of pairs of letters exchanged between famous lovers in English history. Upon the death of Queen Elizabeth I in 1603, Drayton, like most other poets, acclaimed in verse the accession of King James I, but he failed to receive any appointment or reward. The disappointment adversely affected his poetry of the next few years. It is reflected in his bitter satire, The Owl, and in his nostalgia for the previous reign and his implicitly negative attitude toward James I. In poems, lyric and pastoral, he introduced a new mode with the odes modelled on Horace. The Battle of Agincourt shows Drayton's gift for pure narrative. He had also published the first part of his most ambitious work, Polyolbion, in which he intended to record comprehensively the Elizabethan discovery of England, the beauty of the countryside, the romantic fascination of ruined abbeys, its history, legend, and present life. He produced a second part in 1622, written in Alexandrines, that is 12-syllable line. Polyolbion is amongst the longest poems in English. In his old age, he wrote some of his most beautiful poetry, especially the fairy poem Nymphaea, with its mock heroic undertones, and the Muses' Elysium, the elegies upon sundry occasions, addressed to his friends, often suggest, with their easy polished couplets, the manner of the age of Alexander Pope. John Marston was an English dramatist, one of the most vigorous satirists of the Shakespearean era. Marston was educated at the University of Oxford. He began his literary career in 1598 with The Metamorphosis of Pygmalion, Image in Certain Satires, an erotic poem in the newly fashionable Ovidian style. In the same year, the rough-hewn obscure verses of The Scourge of Villainy, in which Marston referred to himself as a barking satirist, were widely acclaimed. In 1599, Marston began writing for the theatre, producing Histriomastix, probably for performance at the Middle Temple. For the Children of Paul's, a theatre company, Marston wrote Antonio and Melida, its sequel Antonio's Revenge, and What You Will. The most memorable is Antonio's Revenge, a savage melodrama of a political power struggle with elements of parody and fantasy. His plays for the Blackfriars, The Dutch Courtesan, as well as The Malcontent, earned him his place as a dramatist. Although Marston used all the apparatus of contemporary revenge tragedy in The Malcontent, the wronged hero does not kill any of his tormentors and regains power by sophisticated Machiavellian stratagems. In 1605, Marston collaborated with Jonson and with George Chapman on Eastward Ho, a comedy of the contrasts within the life of the city. But the play's satiric references to opportunistic Scottish countrymen of the newly crowned James I gave offence, and all the three authors were imprisoned. After another imprisonment in 1608, presumably once again for libel, Marston left unfinished The Insatiate Countess and entered the Church of England. He took orders in 1609, married the daughter of James I's chaplain, and in 1616 accepted an ecclesiastical post in Christ Church, Hampshire. In 1633, he apparently insisted upon the removal of his name from the collected edition of 6 of his plays, the works of John Marston, which was reissued anonymously the same year as Tragedies and Comedies. Thomas Middleton was a late Elizabethan dramatist who drew people, as he saw them, with comic gusto or searching irony. He was often commissioned to write and produce Lord Mayor's pageants and other civic entertainments, and in 1620 he was appointed the city chronologer. His chief state success was a game at chess in which the Black King and his men, representing Spain and the Jesuits, are checkmated by the White Knight Prince Charles. This political satire drew crowds to the Globe Theatre until the Spanish ambassador protested and James I suppressed the play. Middleton's masterpieces are two tragedies, Women Beware Women and The Changeling, with William Rowley. His comedies picture a society dazzled by money in which most people grasp for all they can get by any means. Michaelmas term is one of the richest in irony. In A Trick to Catch the Old One, two rival users are also eager to score over each other that both are taken in by a clever nephew. A trick was entered for licensing with an unattributed play entitled The Revenger's Tragedy. Modern scholarship attributes the latter to Middleton, although Cyril Turner is sometimes given as the author. In A Mad World, My Masters, an old country gentleman prides himself on his generosity to all except his grandson and heir. The Roaring Girl depicts events in the life of the notorious criminal Moll Frith, who dressed as a man and preferred her freedom to marriage. A Chaste Maid in Cheapside is an exuberant comedy that makes fun of naive or complacent London citizens. Middleton's tragicomedies are far-fetched in plot but strong in dramatic situations. A Fair Quarrel contains one of Middleton's few heroes, Captain Ager, with his conflicts of conscience. Most of Middleton's other plays are comedies. He collaborated with Dekker in The Honest Whore and with Rowley and Philip Messenger in The Old Law. In 2007, all the works attributed to Middleton were published together for the first time as Thomas Middleton, The Collected Works. Thomas Dekker was an English dramatist and writer of prose pamphlets who is particularly known for his lively depictions of London life. He had a hand in at least 42 plays written in the next 30 years. In the dispute known as the Poets' War or the War of the Theatres, he was satirized in Ben Jonson's Poetaster as Demetrius Fannius, a very simple, honest fellow, a dresser of plays. This precipitated Dekker's own attack on Jonson in the play Satyromastics. 13 more plays survive in which Dekker collaborated with such figures as Thomas Middleton, John Webster, Philip Messenger, John Ford, and William Rowley. Of the 9 surviving plays that are entirely Dekker's work, probably the best known are The Shoemaker's Holiday and The Honest Whore. These plays are typical of his work in their use of the moralistic tone of traditional drama, in the rush of their prose, in their boisterousness, and in their mixture of realistic detail with the romanticized plot. Dekker's ear for colloquial speech served him well in his vivid portrayals of daily life in London, and his work appealed strongly to a citizen audience eager for plays on middle class, patriotic, and Protestant themes. He exhibited a similar vigor in such prose pamphlets as The Wonderful Year about the Plague, The Bellman of London about roguery and crime, with much material borrowed from Robert Greene and others, and Girl's Hornbook, a valuable account of behavior in the London theatres. Between 1613 and 1619, Dekker was in prison for debt. This first-hand experience may be behind his 6 prison scenes, first included in the 6th edition of 1616 of Sir Thomas Overbury's characters. Dekker was partly responsible for devising the street entertainment to celebrate the entry of James I into London in 1603. He provided the Lord Mayor's pageant in 1612, 1627, 1628 and 1629. All this labour did not bring prosperity, however, for Dekker was likely in debt when he died. Beaumont and Fletcher were the English dramatists Francis Beaumont and John Fletcher who collaborated in their writing during the reign of James I. They became known as a team early in their association, so much so that their joint names were applied to the total canon of Fletcher, including his solo works and the plays he composed with various other collaborators, including Philip Messenger and Nathan Field. The first Beaumont and Fletcher folio of 1647 contained 35 plays. 53 plays were included in the second folio in 1679. Other works bring the total plays in a canon to about 55. While scholars and critics will probably never render a unanimous verdict on the authorship of all these plays, especially given the difficulties of some of the individual cases, contemporary scholarship has arrived at a corpus of about 12 to 15 plays that are the work of both men. The plays generally recognized as Beaumont and Fletcher collaborations are The Woman Hater, Cupid's Revenge, Philaster, The Maid's Tragedy, A King and No King, The Captain, The Scornful Lady, Love's Pilgrimage, The Noble Gentleman. The plays later revised by Messenger are Theory and Theodoret, The Coxcomb, Beggar's Bush, Love's Cure.